Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. I had to restart this stream because I had some technical issues. I apologize about that, but I'm just going to start over and cover everything that I covered in the last one again. All right, it's live. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. My name is LZRS, and I just started this YouTube channel about 1 month ago. And in the course of this first month, I have gained 10 subscribers. Now, unfortunately, I would like to have a lot more subscribers than I currently have. My goal is to have 10,000 subscribers, and I only have 10. So on the surface, you could think, I'm very far from my goal. That's not even 1% of the total followers that I would like to have. It's actually 0.1%. So that's like 0.001 times the total amount, 0.1% of my total goal. But what I'm going to argue today is that that is not the right way to think about this. I've actually made a lot more progress toward my goal of 10,000 subscribers than you might think. In fact, I'm going to argue that I'm actually about 25% of the way there. I just need to do what I've just done 3 more times, and I will have 10,000 subscribers. So before I dive into that and talk about how I'm thinking about the growth of my channel, first, I want to talk about 2 other topics. One is why am I making this channel in the first place? And the other is how I'm going about growing it. So first, let's talk about why. So I'm not going to give you a super compelling pitch about the content that I'm making and why you should become a subscriber and why you should watch it. If you find this video interesting, you might find my other videos interesting. I recommend that you go and check this out. And one of the reasons why I'm not going to give you this type of a description is that I'm still figuring out my exact niche, my exact content type, and my exact angle. This stuff is still in flux. So this is an iterative process. Every time I upload a video, I think about it, I measure the reaction, and I reorient myself. And so I don't have an exact roadmap about what I'm going to produce. But what I am, and I'm going to talk more about my specific content creation schedule in a second, but what I will tell you is if you are considering subscribing right now, I will say that I talk about technology. I talk about the effect that technology has on society. This is one of the biggest topics that I cover. For example, I talk about the impact that cryptocurrency will have on financial markets. I talk about the risk of AI doom, and I talk about a lot of other subjects like that. And so if that's interesting to you, I highly recommend subscribing and just at least seeing how things go with me. And so I am committed to produce content on a consistent schedule. So you can at least be guaranteed that you have something to watch if for perhaps you can't find anything. So please subscribe, please like, it really helps, and comment and let me know any of your thoughts about anything that I say in this video. It would be greatly appreciated. So now, anyway, why am I doing this? Well, first of all, I think personally, I've always had a bit of an aptitude for presenting ideas in a novel way that people find interesting. I've successfully written articles that have been taken up by experts in their field and thought that I've been able to make great contributions as an amateur. I've raised money from top tier venture capitalists. I've been able to pitch my company. I've been able to, in general, throughout life, I've been able to basically rise up into leadership positions based on my ability to communicate. Now, you might be thinking, this guy, he's talking a big game, but this video is crap. Maybe. That's totally possible. I mean, I will say, I think I am still learning how to talk to a camera and how to make engaging content. And this is a skill. And I'm going to talk about how I'm actively building this skill a little bit later. But the point is not only is this something that I just feel like I have an aptitude toward, but also I enjoy it. I really enjoy talking about ideas. And I've had so many good conversations and with colleagues and friends and people privately. It's really a shame that I have no documentation of all of these great thoughts that I've had over the years. And so just on a personal level, doing something that I naturally like to do, I'm naturally good at, this is something that I find valuable. So if you're in a similar situation and you like talking about issues or some issue, or you like talking about some topic, maybe make videos about it. If you like content, or maybe you like doing, visual diagrams and you're good at making visual diagrams, or it's something that you want to get good at, make videos with visual diagrams in them. And so, I guess my advice here is that you should lean into the skills that you have. And most importantly, lean into your interests. You want to do something, you want to find something that you can work on that's productive, that you like to do. If you're trying to do things that are not in your nature, it's going to be a lot harder. That's not to say that you should never force yourself to do something you don't want to do, but it's nice when you can find something that you're good at and that you like. But with that said, good at is a relative statement. And we're going to talk about how you could probably see this is not the best produced video. This is not the most clearly spoken video you've ever seen, but we're going to talk about my plan to get there, to make this actually be at a top tier production level over time. We're just not there yet. I've only started doing this 1 month ago, so cut me some slack, please. So now the other thing is I have made some content in the past under a different channel and under different names. So I do kind of know what it takes. I don't remember how many subscribers I had on one of my previous YouTube channels. It was around 100, but I really did observe. I simply just lost interest at that time in doing it. And I really felt no bounds on my capability of growing that audience if I had stayed committed. It's just that I had other priorities at the time. So I do kind of know what this takes. And I perceive that there's a hole in the market. And in other words, there is a worldview that I have, and there are opinions that I have, and there's a type of content that I like. And I just don't actually think that anyone else is making the types of things that I would really get behind. There's a lot of creators that I follow, but there's not that many that I really follow and endorse all the things that they do and say. So I see this as an opportunity for myself to make the kind of content that I think is lacking in the world and cover the perspectives that nobody else seems to be covering. So I can't explain to you all the details of what is my worldview in this one video, but needless to say, this is an opportunity for me to share something that nobody else is sharing. So that's why I'm doing this. So that's my motivation. That's why I'm making this channel, broadly speaking. But now the question is how? How am I going to do this? So I break this mostly into 3 points. The first is I'm making daily videos. So these daily videos, so you can come up with a variety of different schedules for making videos. You could do like daily videos, weekly videos, monthly videos. You probably don't want to do less than monthly, but it's possible. You would just have to put a lot more work into each video. And so I chose daily videos. I'm making videos every day. If you go onto my YouTube channel, you'll see I have I think this would be my, how many videos have I done? I mean, this is my 12th stream, but it's my 13th video. So the reason why, by the way, I've done this for about a week, but I did take a little bit of time off for the holidays. So that's why I don't have closer to 30 videos at this point. But the reason why I'm doing daily videos and not weekly videos or monthly videos is because this makes each video very low stakes. So it's not so important. For example, let's say that I'm doing monthly videos. So I'm only making one video per month in that case. And if it's not good, then I'm not going to have another chance to show what I've got to people for a whole nother month, because I'm going to have to spend a whole nother month making another video. And that means that it's very important. It's like you can't just have a throwaway video, because then you're a whole month behind. If I have a throwaway video, for example, let's say this video turns out really bad. That's just one day. I had a video, I'm not doing videos on the weekends, but I had a video on Friday and there's been a good number of views on that one. And today, maybe this one doesn't get a lot of views, but tomorrow I can just get more views again. And so I can just go and correct my mistakes, especially since I'm beginning. It's really great to have something that's low stakes. And so what happens is you end up having this, let's say you're doing one video per month, you put a lot of effort into it. Now the pressure is on. You know that there's a lot of pressure that you're going to have to perform to make this video really good. This can be stressful. It can lead to procrastination. So maybe you don't even work on it as hard as you should. But then also, this makes you reluctant to publish because you know you're going to publish this video and you didn't get the most out of it. You need to continue editing it, continue refining it, continue rewriting it. And that ends up being a process where you actually over prepare. You do more than you need to make this video good. And at the end of the day, it's just unlikely that you're going to be able to, you're not going to be able to improve as fast. And so by making daily videos, I'm actually able to have more iterations on the video process. So I can try something. I tried something today. I'm going to see how this video goes. And then I'm going to start collecting data very quickly on how it's received, how many views, how many likes, how many comments, how many subscribers does it generate. I'm getting that feedback. I'm sleeping on it. Every single day, I'm coming back with a new, refreshed perspective. And I've learned what people like. And I'm going to show you my channel in a bit and show you what I'm talking about. But also, I'm just getting way more time in front of the camera. I'm getting way more time practicing speaking to a camera, speaking with scripted content, with unscripted content. I'm figuring out how much time I need to prepare for these things. I'm figuring out how to plan this type of stuff. I'm learning all these details about how to optimize YouTube videos and basically, I'm learning all of the raw skills that go into this. And I'm actually getting a lot of practice. So I've already kind of noticed that, when I'm having a conversation after doing daily multi-hour long live streams, I'm already a little bit more fluent. I'm a little bit more able to think of what to say, come up with good things, talk in an entertaining way when I'm talking in even just regular conversations. So this stuff even translates outside of videos. But also I just think that, over time I'm getting a little bit better incrementally, day by day, not much every day, but a little bit every day. I'm just getting better and better at the craft. Whereas if you have a lesser video production schedule, the videos are going to be better. You're putting more into them. It's true. But you're not actually learning as fast because you're not getting feedback on the things that you do and you're not seeing how it works out. Let me just give you one example. Let's say you want to make a thumbnail for your video and you don't know what kind of thumbnails work. Well, if you just have one video under your belt, you can't really find any sort of trend on different thumbnail styles to see if it works. You might be able to kind of understand, like you switch the thumbnail and see a higher click-through rate, but it's really hard to tell with just one video. If you have a library of videos, all of a sudden you are able to really see trends across videos and see things that are not, you don't confuse specific reason, like there's specific reasons for a given video to perform well under certain circumstances and not. That doesn't necessarily translate to a trend across all videos. But if you have more videos, you have more variety, you can actually see these trends and learn from them. And so let me just kind of, so now what I want to do is I want to walk through my channel and I want to show you the consequence of this daily upload schedule. So let me go here. I'm going to go to my channel. So as you can see, I'm streaming this right here. And I have these are all the streams that I've done. And I also have uploaded some videos here. Now, all of these were recorded live, except for this one. This was an edited video, and I learned a lot from editing. It actually took several days. So this took a long time to put together. And part of it is just my skill level of editing. I'm not so good at editing yet. But nevertheless, we have this live stream that we're on right now. And let's just look at the trends here. So I started out with just doing these types of reaction videos. As you can see, there's not that much, like nobody's liked the videos or commented on the videos. There's been very few views here. These weren't very popular. And if you go back and watch them, I think they were okay. But this one right here, I highly recommend if you like AI And this is going to be a very good one, in my opinion. But for the most part, I was really just learning the ropes. So there were so many technical issues. There were so many problems with these. There was a lot of issues. But I was getting the hang of it. And what I did was, so in the past, what I had done, and I'm going to talk more about this in a bit, is I had interviewed people. So I found people that in the past, when I had a YouTube channel and I got a good amount of views and subscribers, I interviewed people. And what would happen is I would find someone that I wanted to talk to. I would invite them on the channel. And sometimes they would share the interview after, and that would help me get subscribers. But also, what I learned is there was a trend of people who would be interested in, like, let's say, Andre Carpathy. I did not interview him in the past, but I'm just using him as an example. If I had interviewed him, what I found is that there would have been people who were interested in any new content that he has made. So they will search him in YouTube. And what would happen is that they would get directed to my video, to my interview of him, and they would be interested in hearing what he had to say, and they would watch it and they would like it. So one thing that I've done is that I have actually tried to tie my content into other content that people are consuming. So I have been reacting to a lot of other videos on YouTube because I know, one, people are searching for these famous people and wanting to know more content pertaining to their views and what they're talking about. And two, I also know that people who watch the videos that I'm reacting to might actually want to see my reaction to those videos. There's already an audience for that content. So I'm making things that are directly applicable to other people. So anyway, that's been my strategy. And as you can see, I've gotten views on these videos, and this has all been organic. I have not really shared this with anybody. I haven't really gone around trying to promote this. This has all been inbound traffic from YouTube. So as you can see, some people have spent 2.5 hours watching this video. This video is just over 1 hour long, and people have basically watched the full thing twice. And 43 people individually have watched different clips of it. But it generated me no subscribers. Nobody watched this and then went and subscribed immediately. So I started off making these kinds of videos. I was reacting to videos that I really liked. Then I did another one about Andre Carpathy, and then I changed subjects. And this was where I found the most success so far. I thought that this was going to be a flop. I reacted to a debate between Eliezer Yudkowsky and Stephen Wolfram, and they were talking about the risks of AI. And I thought, since I was just talking about AI, this was an interesting subject. I didn't really know what to stream that day, so I just started reacting to this live stream, to this debate that they had. And it ended up taking a really long time to get through it. I mean, this first video was almost 2 hours. The second one was almost 1 hour. The third one was over 2 hours, and the fourth one, the final one, was way over 2 hours, almost 3 hours. So that's a lot of total hours of coverage of this debate. And that's just because every time they would say something, I would pause it, I would react, I would go down a rabbit hole, and I would listen to it at 1x speed. And we would just go through the debate one sentence at a time, breaking everything down. And so far, this has been an extremely successful series. I mean, this is my biggest video. It has 141 views, this first one. And I've got lots of, I've got comments on it, and it's even, I think it's generated me some subscribers. I gotta find the analytics here. No, this one has not generated me subscribers, but this has been a lot of watch time, over 13 hours of watch time. Let me go back here, and maybe this one definitely generated subscribers. Let's go to the analytics. So I got a subscriber from this one, and there's been 8.5 hours of watch time. And this one also, this last one, I got also a subscriber, almost 10 hours of watch time from this. So this was not something that I expected to be very successful, but it turns out that and it's actually not surprising in hindsight, but it turns out that there's a very passionate community of people who really like discussing this topic of AI doom. And so I stumbled upon this and I got way more views than any of my other videos. Then I've made other types of things. So as you can see, I talked about lessons that I've learned in my life. I talked about just some ideas around cryptography and cryptocurrency, but these really did not get much views. In fact, I think this is some of my most high quality content, but it hasn't generated the same level of views. And I think partly that's because I haven't executed on the strategy of relating this to some other person that people are searching, or some search term that is very frequent, or it also hasn't been reacting to another video that someone else might have been watching. So it's hard to get I think if a lot of people watched these videos, they would really like them, but getting them in front of people organically that would be interested in them is harder. And so far, there really hasn't been much adoption. Only one person has viewed each of these 2 videos. And so as I go, each time I'm learning something and I'm iterating. And as you see, I was playing with thumbnail design here. And then recently I haven't been doing thumbnail design. And that's because I haven't really been able to see a noticeable uptick on CTR by setting custom thumbnails. And I realized that I probably have too few videos and too few viewers to really get a return from designing thumbnails. So I'm letting my library grow and my channel grow a little bit before I really dive back into thumbnails and see what works. So now I will temporarily close this view of my channel. So as you can see, I'm having many shots on goal. I'm iterating, I'm learning every single day. I'm getting a lot of practice making videos, and I'm able to incorporate that feedback on a day-to-day basis. And that is the recipe for doing really well over time, and doing a daily video production where each video is not so great. I mean, probably my most successful video overall, not in terms of absolute view count, but in terms of likes and subscribers, was that one that I spent a lot more time on. But the issue is that that took so much time. It was not the best return on my time. The best return on my time has been the live streams that were reacting to the debate. So all of that is to say that the daily upload schedule is key to my plan. Now, what else is key to my plan? This is my content strategy. So what type of content am I looking to make? Now, I don't know the exact plan for the type of content I'm going to make. I know this is going to evolve as I see what works and what doesn't, and as I get feedback from the audience. But I do have a bit of an idea, because my thesis here is that people think that they want educational content, but actually, I don't think that they do. I think they want entertainment. And so let me give you an example. So I want to share a video by Alex Hormozi, and I want to react to this. So let me change this view. Here we are. Okay, let's see what Alex Hormozi has to say. We can just start this from the beginning.
Let's rock. So you guys want to hear something absolutely insane? Well, in the last 40 months, my YouTube grew from 0 to 2.23 million subscribers.
Just pausing here. This is what I want to do, growing from 0 to not millions, but 10,000 is good enough for me. So this is my goal.
My Instagram grew from 7,000 to 2.5 million subscribers, followers. You get the idea. My LinkedIn went from 0 to 324,000 followers. My TikTok went from 0 to 856,000 followers. My Twitter/X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, went from 0 to 617,000. My Facebook, which we just started, went from 0 to 25,000. There we go. Going in big, Facebooks. And my email subscribers went from 0 to sessions over that time period. And 7.8 million.
Point is he is successful. He's establishing credibility here. He's gotten he started from nothing 40 months ago. And this was a year ago. So now it would be like 52 months ago. And he has grown to millions. So this is going to be some of the insights he's learned. And we're going to talk about just one of these insights and how it relates to what I'm doing. And I'm going to spoil it a little bit for you, but I disagree with him. So yeah, he's also sold copies of his book. And yeah, he's basically has proven that this system works. So you can trust him. Now, let's talk about what is he advocating.
And a big, quote, fancy plan. And my fancy plan had 3 steps. Okay, Step 1, make as much good stuff as I could. Step 2, post it everywhere I could. And step 3, learn as much as I could. And after 40-ish months, $4 million in team, equipment, vendors, studios, and software.
What did he learn? Let's see.
1,000 hours of me on camera recording. And 35,000 pieces of content. Let me say that again.
And look, let me say something, which is interesting here. Like, I want to compare what I'm doing to what he's doing in just a second. So 1,000 hours is not that much. There's 365 days in a year. If I'm doing multi-hour streams every day, let's say I'm doing 2-hour streams a day, that is 600 hours. I mean, obviously not exactly, but you get what I'm saying. That's upwards of rounding up to 1,000 hours of content in 1 year. So this is a very achievable thing. And also, if you think about it, if you ever, doubt that you can get subscribers, see that he made, how many pieces of content did he say he made?
Vendors, studios, and software. 1,000 hours of me on camera recording. And 35,000 pieces of content.
So I have found, even at my very low production skill level, that I have gotten around 1 subscriber per video that I've made. So I have made, 13 videos, and I have 10 subscribers. Now, that might not hold, but I actually think that is typically an understatement. As you get better, you end up making multiple subscribers. You get multiple subscribers per video. So let's say you wanted 35,000 subscribers. Let's say that was your goal. Well, one thing you could do is you could make 35,000 pieces of content. This is something that Alex Hormozi did. And I mean, that it's only even if it's not the best content in the world, if you think about it, it's still, even with my really bad metrics of slightly less than 1 subscriber per video, you would still have 30 to 35,000 subscribers if you just simply made 35,000 pieces of content. I know it doesn't exactly work like that. If it's absolute trash content, that's one thing, but this is something that can be done. His team made 35,000 pieces of content, and he then ended up having millions of subscribers from that. You could also make 35,000 pieces of content, and you could have at least 35,000 subscribers, which is pretty good. You could make a living doing that. Now, we can talk about this, but it is very hard to make 35,000 pieces of content. That's a lot of content, but it's not as hard as you'd think. I have not been doing this full time, and I have made 13 videos, and we'll get more into my metrics a bit later. But recording for thousands of hours, doing lots of content over the course of a couple of years, you can make thousands of hours of recording and thousands of pieces of content. There's no question that a dedicated person can do this. And if you do that, I really don't see how you wouldn't have success.
Let me say that again.
But let's keep watching.
35 1,000, as in count to 1,000 and then do that 35 times in a row. I learned a lot of what not to do. But I did learn 6 things that made money and grew my brand that you can use today. Now, what I'd like to do is, for the remainder of the presentation, save you the 3.5 years and $4 million so you can just get the lessons without the scars. So that little box is our box of 6 lessons. Cool? All right, let's rock. So here are the 6 changes that we observed over the last 40-ish months that actually worked. Number 1, going from edutainment to education.
So this is the point that I want to react to here. So I'm going to skip these other ones. I will add this video to my sources playlist on my channel. You go onto my channel, you look at the sources playlist. If you want to watch this whole thing, I recommend it. It's very interesting. I learned other stuff from this, but I'm just not going to go through all of it in this video. I just want to focus on this first point, edutainment to education. So I want to see what he has to say about it.
What that means, believe me, there's a lot more underneath of it. So let's start with the first one, edutainment to education. So I see content in 3 buckets. On one extreme, you've got entertainment, which is the entire point of entertainment, just to define the term, is to get people to watch. The only point of the entertainment is to just get people to consume it. That's it. If it accomplishes that, it has succeeded. On the other side, you have education, where the point of education is to get someone to change what they do, right? If you try and teach someone how to answer a phone, and then in the same situation, the phone rings and they don't do something, and then after they watch you do something, they then change what they do when the phone rings the second time, they have learned. So the point is to change their behavior. If the video or the content does that, then you've succeeded at educating them. And lastly, you have edutainment, which has the point of both trying to teach and entertaining at the same time. And to be clear, it's less that you make entertaining content or that you make educational content. It's more that you make content and people are either entertained or educated as a result. And so you can make one thing that entertains some people, and then that same thing educates other people. And so I just want to make this very clear that you don't control the audience. You make something and then education or entertainment occurs. But for our purposes, I'll define the content category as the most common outcome of your content. And so if a lot of people are entertained, then you've made entertaining content for the purpose of this presentation, even if 1 or 2 people learn something. So for example, some creators might learn stuff from Mr. Beast's videos. Wow, I learned how to make videos. But the vast majority of people are entertained. They watch just to watch. On the other hand, Walla, who's one of the #1 educators on YouTube, you can even see the different look and feels, and don't worry, I'm going to get into that. He may entertain some enthusiasts around that subject, but mostly he educates students. And until recently, I've been trying to figure this out. I've spent a lot of time really working through this. And so I actually have videos in all 3 buckets. I have entertainment videos where the point is to get people to watch. I have edutainment videos where we try and teach and entertain at the same time. And then we have education videos where we just want to change people's behavior. We just want to teach them something. And so the first change, #1, that we see over lots of the data, I'll support in a second, is that I'm going all in on education for 3 reasons. #1 is that when we looked at all of our data, all views are not created equal. I'll dive into that in a second. #2 is I like educational videos. And #3 is I like people who like educational videos too, and or people who educate themselves, people who want to learn. And so let me explain these. So all views are not created equal. So there's this theory, and this will be one that's gonna rattle some cages. There's a theory that media works like a funnel. In fact, the vast majority of marketing, infographics and things like that, almost all are funnels. And the theory goes like this. You make entertaining content, and then the theory states that people who watch that content then will go to more educational content. Okay? Sounds simple enough. We've got something wide, we've got something narrow. Fantastic. But in our experience, in my experience, and based on our book sales, based on our email opt-ins, and based on the applications we receive at acquisition.com to become portfolio companies, it works much more like this, which is that entertainment people want more entertainment content. And education people want more, say it with me, education content. And so in other words, these people do not become these people, not at any appreciable rate that we would build a business around. And they certainly don't read the books, join the email list, or apply to become portfolio businesses. So if I want more of these people, then they deserve the stuff that they value. And so that's the first reason that I'm doubling down on education. All views are not created equal. Number two, the next is that I simply like doing it. All right, so, I do believe that you should try and do stuff that you like doing. And if it happens to also be in line with your goals, awesome. It's much tougher when the thing you like doing isn't aligned with your goals. But in this instance, when I got that first piece of data, I was like, thank God, because this is stuff I like making most. All right, and so when I talk to ideal customers, in my mind, they are business owners and business interested people. Because if you know me, and anybody who's close to me would probably attest to this, is that if you hang out with me for any amount of time, we will probably talk about business because it's what I love talking about. I eat it, I sleep it, I drink it, I work 7 days on it, and I skip holidays for it because for me, it is the holiday. So this is what I like doing. And this is what the people that I like serving also like. And so they like it better too. And this is where it got confusing for me leading up to this and why this is so important, is that it got very confusing when you have so many people saying, man, I really like the entertaining content. And this is where it gets difficult. This is where you have to read between the lines of the comments rather than just reading the comments themselves. All right?
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. I don't want to just play this video too much. It's a great video. I recommend checking it out. What I'm going to do here is I will just show you. I'm going to, how do I do this? Save it to the sources playlist on my channel, so you can check it out. So the issue I have with the way that he's framing this is well, first of all, I want to caveat this by saying that I respect Alex Hormozi a lot. He is a very good business person and he has been very successful, and there's a lot to learn from him. And so I do recommend checking out that video. I learned a lot. I think you will too. But what I disagree with him is in how I classify his content. I do not consider his content to be educational content. I consider it to be entertainment content, not edutainment even. You could call it edutainment because there's an educational angle to it, but it is certainly, in my book, entertaining content. And I personally don't think that educational content is very good. I don't think that YouTube is the best place for education. And here's why. So watching a video, this is how I think about it. When you're on YouTube, a lot of the time, people don't want to put their full focus on the content. They're not necessarily taking notes, staring at it, really trying to internalize, rewatching, studying it. If you do that, which sometimes you should, then by all means, that is an educational experience. But if you are just passively absorbing information, maybe you don't even get 100% of it, but you're just chilling, maybe you're eating and watching or listening in the car or doing something, and you're not fully engaged, you're enjoying yourself. I don't think that you really learn that much under those circumstances. And I love consuming content in that way. But and I've learned a lot of things in that way, but he tries to draw this analogy between educational content and entertaining content, where he says, well, if mostly people learned something and changed their behavior, then it was educational. And I just don't agree with that. Let's take the show Vikings. There was a show Vikings, and it was on the History Channel, and it was about Vikings, and there were some historical figures in this show. This is an old show. Almost everybody who watched that show learned something about Vikings while watching that show. I mean, even if they didn't change their behavior, maybe because Vikings are not that relevant to their life, these people, if they were in a situation where knowledge about Vikings mattered, they might have had some extra knowledge and maybe their behavior would have changed in that case. That is educational. But is that an educational show, or is that like similar to going to college or reading a textbook on Vikings? It's not. It is an entertaining fiction show. And I think that that is how most people want to consume content on YouTube. They want entertainment. But the thing is that they want entertainment for high IQ people. They want entertainment that is intellectually stimulating. So that is not the same thing as education. So when I watch Alex Hormozi's videos, I learn a bit. I think it's interesting to see what he has to say. He has some hot takes. It's really cool. I mean, I've kind of been thinking about business, been in the business world myself. So there's a lot of things I already know, but he has, taken things way further than I have. So I know that there's something that I could learn from him. But I'm not studying this. And if you watch his videos, you're not going to necessarily walk away with that many notes. Another thing that you're going to realize if you watch a bunch of his videos is he says the same thing again and again, and he's just basically perfecting these bullet points in the delivery of these bullet points, and which is a good thing because he's basically just giving a little bit of information to a lot of people. That's why he has millions of followers. And all he wants to do is he wants to be top of mind for business owners so that when they want to potentially sell their business, they go to him and he gets a good deal flow. That's his business model. And I just don't he's sharing things that are helpful and insightful. But the thing is that intelligent people like talking about ideas, and ambitious people like discussing practical insights that are gained from credible people, experienced by credible people. They like that type of a thing. That is entertaining for them. Like a very driven, intelligent person is not going to, and I'm not trying to make a generalization or insult anybody. This is a generalization. I'm not trying to say it's always true, but a really ambitious, smart person is less likely to want to watch just something that's like blowing up cars or shooting a bullet through a million pieces of wood or whatever. They're going to be much more interested in something that's kind of, like talking about some sort of topic where they actually learn things and it stimulates them and it changes their worldview. But that doesn't mean that the content is educational. I think if you are efficiently being educated, it's a very intense process and you are concentrating and thinking very hard. And you could perhaps do that in a more passive manner where you're just absorbing information over time. You end up having a lot of knowledge that has been accumulated. But I would say that that's a very inefficient way to get educated, such that if that was what you were providing, education in such an inefficient way, I wouldn't really feel good about doing that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make content that can be passively consumed. It's not all, it's not like all inclusive, like it's not an intensive thing to consume this content. This is chill. If you miss it, you didn't miss much. It's not a big deal. The thing is that it's entertaining, and when you hear it, it's good. And what you want to get out of it is some kind of insight. And it's more about the way that I'm thinking and the way that the people we're discussing, reacting to, and talking about, and maybe in the future, people that I interview, the way that they think. That's what you want to get out of this. You're hearing conversations, you're hearing really good arguments, and you're not being educated necessarily, although you might learn some things, but it's just a rewarding and stimulating thing for an intelligent person. It's entertainment, it's high IQ entertainment. That's what I'm trying to provide. So that is my content strategy. So like you might have seen that, for example, I shared my screen earlier to show my YouTube channel. I actually want to be cautious and not share my screen too often in these videos. I want this to be something that you can listen to passively and not rely on a visual focus. But I want to also have that visual enhancement when it provides stimulating context that is useful for people consuming it if they want to, see things in that way. Like, for example, I reacted to this one video about neural networks, and there were visualizations that were very important. And I don't think there's any possible way to describe that phenomenon without having a visual component. So in that video diving into AI, I recommend that you watch that, but there's no other way of doing that content. If I could have explained it verbally, I would have. It's just that you needed to see the diagrams. You needed to see the visualizations. Otherwise, it just wouldn't work. So I'm trying to find that balance. I'm trying to figure out what works. And that's why I'm doing these daily iterations. Now, the final thing that I want to say is that I'm not really focused on interviews. I think interviews are really good. They're a great way of making content because it's a great way of growing a channel, because essentially what happens is you invite someone, then they share it, and then their audience gets exposed to you. And then there's people who are interested in their stuff. They search for them. They come across you. As we talked about, this builds really fast. But I didn't want to go down this route. I'm not opposed to doing interviews. I will do some interviews for sure on this channel. I might do a different channel at another point where it would be all about interviews, and I would go with a very different approach to most people if I were going to do that. But for now, I'm focused on individual content. And there's several reasons for this. First is that there's just not that many good people to interview out there. There's just not that many interesting people that are available to do an interview. It's just, if you want to do a daily show, booking an interview every single day that's good is very unlikely. It's just, there's just not that much to say. I mean, you can have repeat guests and stuff. That could be interesting. But that, I just don't see that. And I might actually do that. Maybe I will get some recurring guests to come on quite a bit if they continue to add value to this stream. But I just don't see enough volume of content there. And what happens is there's people who go on interview circuits, and these same people go on all the interview podcasts. So it ends up saturating the market, and you end up basically talking about this thing that this other person has talked about a million times, and they're just rehashing it. And you saw one interview with that person, then you see another interview with that person. And it's like, how do you even ask unique questions and get to the bottom of things that are original? Like, how are you providing original value as an interviewer and doing an interview podcast in this day and age with so much saturation? Like, it's just to see, like Matthew McConaughey, like he was on a bunch of podcasts. Like, what did he do recently? Did he like launch a book, write a book or something? Like, I don't know why, but he was just on a bunch of people's podcasts. That's the kind of people that you end up being desperate and trying to get on because he's relevant in some sense. He's like a Hollywood guy. And like, that's what you're resorting to. Like, you weren't originally interviewing celebrities like that, and now it's like the only person you can think of. Or just like, there's just all these, influencers that pop up, and then they just get interviewed everywhere. And it basically just makes you as a content creator one in a sea of many people. And even if you think you have a unique skill at interviewing and you can dive in and ask the important questions, it's still like not a very good use of a listener's time, because it's not going to be an original interview, most likely, because you're still going to talk about a lot of the same subjects that other people are. And then maybe if you're good, you'll ask a unique question that reveals some sort of insight. So if you can find a lot of good, unique people to interview, and you want to go down, have unique discussions, by all means, I think it's a good idea, but I think it's very overplayed. It's very saturated. It's basically a recipe for low quality content. And at the end of the day, like, I'm doing this so that I can express myself and I can put forward my worldview. And so every time that I'm interviewing someone, I'm kind of, in a sense, depriving myself from practicing communicating. And I'm not building those raw skills like I was talking about earlier. And so that's why I'm not doing interviews. And I'm mostly trying to drive this by myself and have my content be front and center. And so just to recap, how am I doing this? I'm making daily videos. So every day I can put out a low stakes video. It may do well, it may not. You don't know until you try. And sometimes things I think they're a flop, and then they get picked up like a week later and a lot of people start viewing it and a lot of people start liking it. That happens too. So you'll surprise yourself as you get that variation out there. And the more attempts that you have, the more chances you have to hit gold. And you get to incorporate feedback more quickly. You can sleep on it, think about it, do it better the next time. You can practice, you get way more practice, you get way more hours in front of the camera under your belt, and you start building up that skill level. And so I'm doing daily videos. I'm acknowledging that these are educational videos, but they are still intellectual. They're intellectual videos, but they're they're entertaining intellectual videos. My audience are ambitious, high IQ people who like talking about ideas and thinking about subjects that could be thought of as educational, but I know my goal is not to educate people as efficiently as possible. My goal is to be entertaining and make, arguments and jokes that are entertaining and push people and maybe antagonize them a little bit and create a little bit of drama and put forth contrarian perspectives that get people to think and that kind of a thing, stimulating the mind. It's that type of entertainment that I'm trying to go after. And I'm not doing interviews because I think it's overplayed. And I want this to be a creative outlet for myself. So I will definitely do some interviews. Like, don't get me wrong, I will, but it's not going to be the main point. Mostly this is about my commentary. And I'm, as a consumer of content, I'm also trying to show my reactions to content that I consume so that this becomes, so it's not just a bunch of input, there's also an output associated with the way that I go about consuming content. So now that we have talked about how I am building this channel, I want to look at the statistics, and I want to deliver on this promise that I made earlier in the video to show that since I have 10 subscribers right now, and my goal is 10,000 subscribers, I am 25% of the way there. And I want to make this argument, and this is going to be a very compelling argument. I know you don't believe me. You probably think I am only 0.1% of the way towards 10,000 with 10 subscribers, but I'm going to show you why that's the wrong way of thinking about it. And actually, I'm 25% of the way there. So let's go back to my screen. Okay, now I'm going to show my content again. Now, actually, okay, yeah. So let's go to my channel page here. So what do I have? 10 subscribers. So now the way that you have to think about these things is not in terms of linear growth. What you need to think about when you think about building something online is you need to think about the momentum. So let's look at my analytics here. So as you can see, over time, like it started off with very few views per day. This was 5 views on December 18th, and there was 0 views the next day, etc. And today or yesterday, I had 24 views, and the day before that, I had 41 views. And so although it goes up and down every single day, you see that this is actually, if you just drew a line through this, you would see that line go up. So let me just show an example. I'm going to actually, I will literally draw a line so I can prove to you that this is true. Okay, I just took a screenshot. Now I'm going to paste it in here. Now let me use this tool, and I'm going to draw an arrow going up like this. Okay, so let me change the color so it's easier to see. Maybe green is nice, right? So you see, this is the trend over time. It's going up, and it's going up in a linear fashion. So over time, as time goes on, I'm getting more views per day. Now, what you have to realize is that this is not my total views. This is my daily views. This is the increment in views that I have every single day. So my total views, let's see, can I write here, is 472. But my daily views, yesterday I got 41 views. So I got 10% of my total views yesterday, just about 9% maybe. And what this is so this is actually the rate of change of my total views. And so the area under this curve is actually I'm just trying to fill in this area. I'm going to delete this, but the area under the curve is actually my total views. So when you see this go up, what actually you're seeing is an increasing rate of, like, the amount of views is accelerating. And this is very common. This is common for anything really online. And let me try to build an intuition for why. Why would it be better? Why would you, over time, the rate at which you gain subscribers and followers, why would that increase over time? I'm not talking about why would your view count increase. I'm saying why would you start getting more views at a faster and faster pace over time? Well, like, let me just give you a thought experiment to explain this. Okay, so for example, let's say that you have a comment, like you have like one comment per 100 viewers, 100 subscribers, one commenter out of every 100 subscribers. If you only have 100 subscribers, you'll have one comment. That's not very much. It's just one comment. Now, if you have 200 subscribers, you'll have 2 people making comments. Now, what's the difference between one person making a comment and 2 people making a comment? Well, the difference is that if 2 people are making a comment, now they can have a conversation. So now you have a bigger community, and now more people can talk with each other within that community. Now, maybe after seeing a conversation, maybe a heated debate in your comments, maybe that even entices more people to participate in the comments. And this also creates a better experience for those that are commenting. They're not just commenting alone in isolation. They're commenting in a community, and that's a better experience. That's one dimension on which having more people makes everything better. There's many other ways that we could go down each facet of YouTube or online content creation and shows how having 200 subscribers is 2 times the subscribers of 100 subscribers, but it's better. It's more than twice as good. And that's because things compound. They compound. Growth compounds. And they're, like, to be clear, it doesn't compound up to infinity. You hit bottlenecks and challenges along the way as you grow, taking things to the next level. There's always new challenges that come in. Sometimes people hit a peak or a plateau and they don't continue growing. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but I'm saying, generally speaking, assuming you're not hitting a peak or a plateau, there is going to be a growth rate. And it's not going to be thought of as 10 people per day. It's going to be thought of like 10% per year. It's a compounding growth rate. And typically things online, in networks, and in the economy do grow in a compounding way. So the way to think about growth is in terms of compounding, not in terms of absolute growth. So if I say, so let's go back to my channel. I just want to go back here, back to my channel. I have 10 subscribers. Now, in an absolute sense, I've only got 10 subscribers. But I actually compounded a lot to get these 10 subscribers. So let's walk through this. First, I want to make this large. Okay, so first I had 0 subscribers, okay? And I went from 0, I'm just gonna delete that 0, and I'm gonna put 1. Let's make this text black because it's make it a little bit easier to see here. Okay, 1. So first I got 1 subscriber. That was already kind of cool because I had 0, and then one day I had 1. That's like an infinity % increase kind of a thing. It's like undefined operation going from 0 to 1. But let's just assume that's like doubling, going from 0 to 1. Then I got another subscriber. I got 2 subscribers. So I doubled my subscribers. I went from 1 to 2. And that may not sound very significant, but then I doubled it again. It went from 2 to 4. Then what I did is I doubled it again. I went from 4 to 8. And now I'm at 10. So I have doubled it 4 times. I've doubled my subscribers. And really going from 2 to 4 and going from 4 to 8 is not that different. It's like if you look here, in the past few days, like I was basically like this also follows the same pattern. Like basically nothing, 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 zero subscribers, zero subscribers. And by the way, I did not tell my friends to go subscribe or anything like that. This is organic. And okay, I got 2 subscribers. This was really motivating to see this, but then nothing. And then I got 3 subscribers in a row. And now look at this. There's been 2 days recently where I've had 2 subscribers in the same day. And there's been, also more days with 1 subscriber along the way. So that's really cool. This is also following the same compounding growth rate, but as a percentage, it's keeping a pretty steady trend. And so it's been about 1 month and I've got about 4 doublings. Now, if let's say I continue growing at this rate, which by the way, I don't think that I will. And the reason why I don't think that I will is because it's very easy to get lucky and grow faster in the beginning. Because, for example, let's say at this point I had 1 subscriber and I just got lucky and someone just wanted to subscribe to a channel, but they weren't going to be very invested in the channel. Well, maybe they happened to come across my video and then they just subscribed. And just because that one person felt like subscribing, I quote unquote doubled my subscriber count. Now, so as you can see, like that is not the same thing as going from like 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers. Like you have to convince 1,000 people to do that. In that case, it's a lot easier to go from 1 to 2. But in a sense, if you already have 1,000 subscribers, that video is going to have a baseline of views and a baseline of watch time that's going to get the algorithm to promote it more, and people are going to be sharing it. So there is also, when you have just 1 subscriber, really nobody's sharing it, nobody's watching it. It's all just hoping that someone pays attention. And so you're also at a huge disadvantage when you have starting with 1 or 0. So it is. I do think this is a very legitimate comparison, but the point is that I've done 4 doublings. So now what happens if next month I do 4 more doublings? That would go, let's count this out, 16 subscribers. Okay, then what? 32 subscribers. Then what? 64 subscribers. Then what? 128 subscribers. This is plausible. I mean, if I even made slightly less videos this month because of Christmas and New Year's, and I just really had I literally didn't have a choice. I was not able to work on videos for some of those days, and so and over time my videos are going to get better and better, and I'm learning more and more, and I'm going to make more compelling content. I am already building a small audience who's going to be sharing it, watching it, commenting on it, liking on it, and so it is plausible. You can imagine me getting to 128 subscribers in a month. I'm not saying I will, but it's not inconceivable. I mean, I'm definitely getting to 16. There's no question. 32, I would be shocked if I didn't. 64, maybe I'll land at 64. Maybe my growth rate will decline. It's so early, we don't know what my actual growth rate is going to be. So I'm not trying to make a projection for when I hit my goal, but I'm trying to illustrate to you the type of progress that I'm making. So now I have 10 subscribers. And so I basically have doubled 4 times. And in a month, perhaps I have over 100 subscribers. That would be really cool. I would be so happy to have over 100 subscribers in a month. That would be incredible. But let's play this forward. So now let's say that I keep growing. What do I get? 256. Okay, 256 subscribers. Then 512 subscribers. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, this is getting good. This is nice. 512 subscribers. That's pretty nice. Then 1,024 subscribers. So, I mean, hold on a sec. We're not even done doing 4 more doublings, and we're already in the thousands. And then 2,048 subscribers. So this is what I did so far. Next month at the same growth rate, this is what I would do. And then the following month would be here, 2,000. So you see that this grows very quickly. Now, the following month would be 4,096. Then 8,000, what is it? 100. What is it? 92? No. Wow, I should know this. What is it? Oops. 8,100. Yeah, that's what 192. I was right. I don't know why I doubted it. So it's when you're live, you end up doubting things. I know this stuff, guys. Don't judge me. Okay. And then you get 16,000 something. But 10,000 is like 10,000 is like right above this number. This is nothing, right? And so here I am right now with 10. So I've already done this. And if I just do it 1 time, 2 times, and then basically and a half times, then I am done, essentially. Let's just say 3 times. We'll go from here to here as 1 time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Or, okay, yeah, 15. That's 15 doublings needed. And actually, I think we should call this 14. I think 15 is like an over exaggeration. And then I've already done 4. So I've done 4 out of 14 steps. So 4 divided by 14 is 28%, 28.5%, or 20.6%, 28.6%. That's how much I've done. I've done all of these, and then I just need to do these. So this is 28.6% of the total goal. And now, as you get here, you're going to start thinking this is very counterintuitive. Like, how could I get to here so quickly? But just remember, this seemed very plausible to you when you were thinking I could be at 128. And it's just once you start getting into these big numbers, it starts getting very implausible. And that's because people are bad at thinking about compounding growth. And when it's looking more linear, it's easier to imagine. But it doesn't mean that compounding doesn't occur. People always underestimate what compounding can do. And so, to be clear, I'm not saying that I will do this in 3 months, because this would be 1 month, this would be another month, and this would be another month. I'm not saying that I would get all this done in 3 months from now. So that would be like April. I'm not saying I'm going to have 10,000 subscribers by then. I could, but it's also possible that my rate of compounding is going to decrease. It's totally possible. But I still think if I was doing this and thinking about this in a linear fashion, then I would be way discouraged, because I spent a whole month and I only got 10 subscribers. And so I would need to go 1,000 more months before I get 10,000. And that's ridiculous. I mean, 1,000 months, that's like a lifetime. That's more than a lifetime. That's like 100 years or whatever, 80 years or something. So that's not, obviously people do grow in a compounding rate. And so what will be my actual growth rate? I don't know. When it scales and when I'm like doing this at scale, when I'm getting around this point, maybe my growth rate will decline, but I'm still going to be going through these doubling stages. And it's really not that much of a stretch to go from 1,000 to 2,000. It's a big stretch to go from 1 to 2,000. But from 1,000 to 2,000, it happens pretty quickly. Like, there's this saying when people talk, I think there's like some billionaire and someone asks them like, what's it like, or they're a multi-billionaire and someone asks them like, what's it like to be a multi-billionaire? And what they said is that the first billion is the hardest. So like think about having $1 billion and going from 1 to 2 billion. It's actually not that hard. I mean, you could even do conservative investments and just wait for some amount of time and you'll eventually have 2 billion. It's really not that big of a deal. But to get that first $1 billion is almost impossible. You can't wait any amount of time. There's nothing you could do. You can work as hard as you want and you still might never get $1 billion. Getting the first billion is the hardest. So similarly, you believe I can get to 128, then I could probably get to in the higher hundreds relatively quickly. But from there, getting to 10,000 is actually not that big of a deal. So I'm super happy right now to be at 10 subscribers because I've already doubled to 1, doubled to 2, doubled to 4, doubled to 8, and I'm on my way to 16. And I just have to keep doing that, keep compounding. And by doing that, I will get to my goal of 10,000 subscribers in no time. So this is how I genuinely encourage you to think about this subject in anything that you do that has compounding growth. And most things do. If you're interested in making content, then just find a way to continuously improve and put time in and get better. And if you just follow this plan that works for getting good at anything, which is basically putting a lot of time into it, gathering feedback, having many iterations. If you want to learn more about these types of lessons, I have this video called 13 Things I've Learned in 30 Years. Let me just share that on the screen really quick. It's this video. You will be one of the first people to have watched it because right now it only has 1 view. But this is a good video. Watch this. You'll learn how to get things done. All the life lessons that I have learned, you'll learn there. And yeah, that's basically, I just really wanted to cover how I'm going about this. And tomorrow we will resume our regular programming, reacting to a Chris Cole, Mike Green video about volatility in financial markets. And we're going to learn a lot about the makeup of financial markets and eventually I'm going to relate it to crypto and all this other stuff. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to get back to that. But if you haven't, please subscribe. Please like this. I will remember that you are one of the first people. And so leave a comment too so that I know what your username is because I don't think I can see the list of my subscribers.